Howdy folks, welcome to episode 50 of Bonfire Man. Here's how Bonfire Man works. I'm locked to specific chunks in the game. I have to interact with everything in my unlocked chunks exactly once. So that means every tree needs to be chopped, every enemy needs to die, every resource needs to be consumed. When I interact with something, it is exhausted. When something is exhausted, that means I'm not allowed to interact with it again. I'm allowed to randomly unlock a new chunk whenever all of the entities in my current chunks have been so exhausted. When I enter a new chunk, I rest at a bonfire, as in the Souls games. Resting at a bonfire refreshes or unexhausts all of the content in previous chunks that I've already been to. Now I have to exhaust all entities in both the old and new chunks to continue to progress. My objective is to unlock every chunk in RuneScape. According to my estimates, I think that's going to take about 10,000 hours to complete. If you're interested in all the specifics, minutia, minor rules, exceptions, that kind of a thing, there's a Google Doc in the description that lists all of that. Let's go ahead and get to the playthrough. So with episode 50, it is the end of an era. Up to this episode, I was able to put out a video once per week, but now these cycles are taking so long that I can no longer do that. I have caught up on my backlog. So we're going to call it the end of a season, the end of an era, whatever. The only thing that's really going to change is that I'm going to be posting these once every couple months with other RuneScape content in between, instead of doing a bonfire video every week. That'll make sure that I can give these cycles the time they deserve. I was hoping for a climactic chunk for episode 50, but unfortunately we've gotten a very anticlimactic chunk here, Hazelmere's Island, which would be a reroll under almost all other circumstances except jungle spiders spawn there. I've never fought jungle spiders before, and they do technically drop a new resource for me. The spider carcass can be used in cooking, and I didn't have it as a skilling resource. So under my rules, I have to light a bonfire here. I can't get away with skipping it. First things first, crossing the fog wall. Do have a new music track there long ago. Haven't been here before. Before I forget, let me go ahead and light the bonfire here. And of course, we have to rest at it. Okay, everything has respawned. Fortunately, this resting plugin is all screwed up now when you walk around, so I have to like reboot the game, or I guess I can hop worlds to fix it. I'll do that real fast. So I was teasing this chunk on the chunk map for having one random coal rock, but it's not as random as I thought. It's technically part of this mine, so that makes more sense. I guess I'm going to start chopping these trees. I brought combat gear to deal with the jungle spiders, so let me do that. That's the important thing here, and I can try to give you a list of the tasks in the chunk to set it up. All right, I got the rest of my cycle tasks set up here. Let's go ahead and kill these stupid spiders that are keeping me from re-rolling this chunk. Here they are over here, jungle spiders, level 44. There's 21 of them to kill here. Probably gonna have to leave the bank a couple times. I'm gonna go ahead and kill the baby spiders. They're critters, but I'm gonna be able to 100% complete this chunk so that I won't have to, I'll probably just skip it in the future. So I'll add those onto the list once I kill all these ones. This is very strange. These spider carcasses don't show in the loot tracker, and the individual spiders that I'm killing aren't getting marked as killed. I wonder if spider carcasses just aren't loot. It doesn't affect the rules, obviously, but it's very odd. I'll start manually marking them as killed then. All right, this is the last jungle spider. I'm gonna go ahead and just tag them all to make sure they're all done. All the trees are done. All the jungle spiders are done. I just deleted the task because I'm an idiot. Yeah, so I just have to kill these two regular spiders now, and then this chunk, we will never have to return to it. There we go. Victory achieved. Hazelmere's Island is done. And now for 60 some hours of the rest of the cycle. I really want to use this lamp, so I'm going to go do the agility course in Al-Kharid and Draenor to see if I can squeeze out a level to get a little bit more XP out of it. But before I do that, since this chunk is done, let's talk about the chunk map for this episode and our objectives. Howdy folks, it's time to talk about the chunk map and our objectives for this episode. There's a time code in the description if you want to skip back to the playthrough. First off, 100% completed chunks. These are chunks in which we've done everything there is to do at least once. This is up by 2 from last episode, and it's the 2 chunks we just rolled, the Feldup Coast and Hazelmere's Hut. Primary benefit of 100% completing a chunk is that the content becomes optional on future cycles, so we won't have to chop the trees in Feldup Coast, and we won't have to kill any of those jungle spiders on Hazelmere's Island again. The other perk for 100% completing a chunk is that the exhaustion rules for certain skilling nodes change. We can generally do more woodcutting, more fishing, more thieving, mining of shooting stars, and agility course laps than we could in non-100% completed chunks. Also, the shop stocks in completed chunks refresh once per cycle. This is our same perk list as last episode. You'll notice the dig site workman as a pickpocketing NPC. Since we just finished the dig site chunk last cycle, this cycle I'll be able to pickpocket each of these 7 dig site workmen in that chunk 28 times each. That's for a whopping 1,965 extra thieving XP per cycle, and they're pretty terrible drops. Now let's talk about chunks that I cannot 100% complete. The first category is quest blocked chunks. There is exhaustible content in these chunks that I'm not able to reach due to not having completed a quest. So like I can't get into the Barbarian Agility course because I haven't done Alfred Grimhand's Bar Crawl. You'll notice this number is down from last episode. We'll talk about that at the end. After that, skill blocked chunks. I can't complete these because I don't have the requisite skill levels to exhaust all of the content. We need 47 agility to boost to 50 to run the Falador Rooftop course, and that's actually within reach. We've been getting so many genies and dunces lately that have been dumping on agility that it's probably only going to be a couple more cycles until we can finally complete that Falador chunk, which would let us pickpocket all of the guards in Falador a bunch of times, which is great. And it would let us run the Falador Rooftop course until a Mark of Grace spawns every cycle, which would be potentially huge for agility XP gain. It's all just going to come down to how lucky we get at the Al-Kharid and Draenor Rooftop courses, how many laps we get to run until the Mark of Grace spawns. The other blocked chunks are much further off in the future. We're not going to be getting 82 construction to build master stashes anytime soon. Probably won't see 70 agility, or I guess 67 with a boost for the Polnavnich Rooftop course. We need 40 Slayer to qualify for Rag and Bone Man 2 to consider the Silvaria chunk complete. It would just let us skip killing some bats and chopping some trees there. That one's actually pretty possible. As soon as we hit 47 agility, I'm going to stop lamping it and instead start lamping Slayer. We're at 35 Slayer right now, so it's only about 5 levels to go until we hit 40. And then down there at the bottom, pest control we can't 100% complete because I can't get on the veteran lander because I don't have combat level 100. 100% completing pest control doesn't really do anything for us. There aren't any exhaustible resources there to skip, but you know, it'll be nice to have done. Again, you'll notice the number of skill blocked chunks is down from last episode. We'll talk about it at the end. And on the topic of skills, we are still blocked on Slayer. I need to be able to access Desert Lizards to continue training Slayer, and Turiel won't let me reroll a task since Desert Lizards is one of the tasks that he can assign. After skill blocked chunks, there are still just 2 item blocked chunks. I need a bird snare and a big fishing net to finish the Soul Isle. And finally, chunk blocked chunks. These are chunks that we can't complete because we're waiting on rolling another chunk. Usually the reason for this is that there's exhaustible content on the edge of this chunk that requires the adjacent chunk to access, and that's true for everything you can see on the screen here except for these chunks marked with the Herblore skill icon. So these were previously either blocked by quests or blocked by skills, but the reality is we just need to roll South Taverley to be able to finish all of these chunks. I have so many herbs in the bank that as soon as we unlock Herblore, I'm going to shoot up to like 50 Herblore immediately, and that is by far the biggest thing blocking us from completing these chunks. I think of these chunks, Lumbridge is the only one that once we unlock Herblore, it's still going to be blocked by something else. We have to meet all of the skill requirements for all of the Recipe for Disaster subquests in order to call Lumbridge done, and there's probably going to be more of those requirements after we unlock Herblore, like quest points, for example. Alright, that is it for the chunk map. Let us get back to the playthrough. Alright, first things first, agility. Let's go. Alright, so last cycle we got a little unlucky on the Al-Kharid course. I think we got the Mark of Grace in like 10 laps. Ideally we want it to be in like 20 laps, so we'll see how much XP we're actually able to squeeze out. Getting close to 47. 47 is when I can do the Falador Rooftop course, and the Falador Rooftop course changes everything because it completes that chunk, and then we can run that course until a Mark of Grace spawns, which should be a pretty significant boost in agility XP. Even though the Mark of Grace spawn right there is reasonably high, I'm not 20 levels above it. I have to get to 70 agility for that to be the case. It should still make a difference. Just finished my 17th lap with no Mark of Grace spawn. I am going to get 46 agility. I'm going to be able to use this lamp to get a slight increase in XP from it. There it is. Agility 46. Let's go ahead and burn that so it's not in my inventory. And I don't think I'm going to hit 47 this cycle. I'd have to get wildly lucky with no Mark of Grace spawning on either this course or Draenor. I'm not counting on it, though. This is insanely lucky. I'm on lap 32 and no Mark of Grace. The thing that would make me sad now is if I come just short of it, right? I'd rather, like, very clearly not be able to make 47 than just barely miss it. Although if I am going to just barely miss it, that means that, you know, any random event that spawns is that much more impactful. Lap 39, I still haven't seen one. I'm very happy. This is the best cycle ever. I promise I haven't like walked past one and just not picked it up. This is lap 45 and I still haven't seen one. So we might actually get 47. This is lap 51. It's not stopping. I guess there's a reasonable chance of this happening, right? Just like it's reasonable to go dry on a drop. I'm effectively going dry and it's a good thing. Okay, it finally spawned on lap 52. But I should almost certainly be able to get 47 now. We'll see what happens over at the Drainer course, but I'll head over there. As long as I don't get really unlucky in Drainer, we are going to be able to do it. It's insane. Okay, here we are at the Drainer course. We'll see how many laps I actually have to do to get the level up. But I think it's like at least 3. So I have had it spawn on lap 2 before. I'm going to hope that doesn't happen here. All right, we made it at least 3 laps, so we are going to get the level up here. I'm pretty pumped about this, to be honest. I think this adds a few other things. Like, I think it means we get to pickpocket some more guards in Falador. I have to remind myself what's actually in the Falador chunk, other than the agility course. All right, here comes 47 agility, which is not itself a useful level, but I can now boost to 50 to do the Falador course. One of the best things about this is that now I'll stop using lamps on agility. I'm going to start putting them on Slayer now, because I think 70 agility, or rather 67 agility, is so far off as to probably not ever happen, or not happen for like a couple thousand hours, at least at the rate I'm currently getting XP. So I think they'd be better served going on a skill that I can't actually train, like Slayer. All right, the Drainer course is a little bit more reasonable. 12 laps. I mean, that's still unlucky. I should get 20 on average, but I can't complain after my insane luck at the Al-Kharid course. All right, so I have to actually complete the Falador chunk in order to benefit from this. So I'm only going to get to do 1 lap right now with an agility potion. I'm hoping I have enough agility potion doses here that I can just keep running laps over and over to get more marks in future cycles. I might need to start holding on to clean irrits in case we run into Jekyll again.
Random event spawned.
I haven't done an Evil Bob fishing random in a while. I probably should do these. I think they give decent XP. I tend to not do this random event because I tend to get magic rather than fishing XP. Yeah, 650 magic XP. Okay, very exciting moment for the account. Let's do this for the first time ever, the Falador Rooftop course. I'm just going to do the whole thing. I probably should have had run energy for this shit. Whoops. Be nice if I can do the whole lap without needing to sip another dose, but without having run energy, it's probably not going to happen. This takes me back to my first week playing RuneScape, where I did nothing but train agility because I saw it as a necessary skill to make the rest of the game easier. Well, I fell for the first time while boosting for a course, so that's definitely a change. I actually don't fall very often on courses. It might just be because I tend to get to them once I'm already way above the level requirement. Damn. I'm gonna have to reboost. I'm almost positive here. Why we have so many potions. Let me up there. I'm gonna wait to reboost until we get to another node that requires... I think that different nodes require it. Okay, and I need to make sure I get the full 60 seconds out of the dose, so I'm gonna wait here. All right, time just resets. Let's go ahead and reboost and try this again. I don't know how much XP this gives per successful lap. I should probably look that up. Gotten it a little close there on the time remaining. Got 11 seconds left. Might just barely get to finish here. Here we go. You've completed a hard task in the Falador area. Your achievement diary has been updated. Falador rooftop lap count is 1. All right, I'm actually motivated now to go ahead and just finish the Falador chunk. So I'm going to chop all the trees and all that fun stuff so we can mark it complete. Here's that task list on the right here. I'm going to mark Falador rooftop done. And I got to do all this stuff. We're going to get 16 guards. Oh my goodness. It's going to be huge for thieving XP. I'll take that Al-Kharid luck as making up for the horrible chunk roll we got this cycle. Gotta kill these gardeners through the fence, which is very dumb. Get to the other guy on the other side. All right, the dumb gardeners are done. Now let's do the more interesting enemies. I have 5 dwarves marked here. Are there surface dwarves here in Falador? If there are, I made a mistake earlier when I started clearing out the enemies I'm allowed to skip. Oh, yeah, okay, so I pared down the number of monsters I have to kill. And I guess I forgot that these guys were up here. I certainly haven't been hovering over them when I've been doing other cycles. So I should have been killing 5 dwarves every cycle. But I think I assumed they were all underground and the ones in the subsurface chunk are completed, so I was able to skip them. So I have been skipping them in error. That's my bad. 15 total dwarves that I've skipped, so it's not a huge deal, but... Yes, I know this chunk had problems before because of entities that exist in the Deadman world. This is something that Source Chunk tried to fix. There actually are not 5 dwarves here. There are 3 because these 2 dwarves are called dwarves, but they cannot be attacked. This one either. There's really just one more in this building. And the guard count is not 16, it's 11 because of a number of guards that are in Deadman worlds that aren't here. Wait, never mind. I checked the wiki and I was only looking on the first floor. There are still 2 more dwarves on the second floor. So this is supposed to be 5. Okay, it's just the guards that are wrong. All right, this is the last dwarf here. Mark this done. I'm going to work on the guards next. Stash is already built, I think. I'm pretty sure I built that a long time ago, but I'll double check. I think it's the one in the party room. Yeah, there is the easy stash. I have built it already. Build this guy, picking his pocket. I got to do 1 more of those. All right, second pickpocket and second man down, theoretically. There it is. Guards next. Okay, guards on the top of the wall have all been pickpocketed and taken down. I gotta get to the guards at the bottom of the wall and then we'll be done. And I just have to do trees. Here's the last guard up here. And now I just have to kill him. In theory. There's a delay after pickpocketing before you can attack people. So I just have to pick up a pickaxe spawn that I think I stupidly already walked past and then chop down these trees. Let's do the trees first and I'll end on the pickaxe spawn. Apparently there's a shooting star in Falador that I totally forgot about, so we'll be getting another one of those too. Amazing. All right, I got all the trees chopped here, although this one I guess technically is registered as in the southern chunk. I'll go ahead and chop it now, just for completion's sake. And then I have to just go track down this bronze pickaxe and then we're done. All right, this is my last step. Pick up this bronze pickaxe and victory achieved. East Falador chunk is now 100% complete after a very long time. I can now pickpocket 11 guards 28 times each. I can run the Falador rooftop course until a Mark of Grey spawns, and I get 13 more oaks that I can chop until they turn into stumps. So pretty huge, pretty huge. Now I desperately need some AFK stuff, so I'm going to start working through my bank full of gems until I get a shooting star. I need to get my crafting up to 80, and I have enough gems to do that, so this is just going to take an extremely long time, but at least I'll be able to get some work done in the process. Got my first star for the cycle over here. I kind of want to do the dig site stuff, so I'm over here at the exam center. I'm going to do 6 panning attempts here, almost all of which is useless garbage. All right, that's all 6 pans, and I got basically nothing, just 1 nuggets. All right, so for the soil, I am going to skip the level 0 stuff since I can, since this is a completed chunk. I'm going to do level 3 down to 2, then to 1, and I'm going to drop everything that's not a broken armor or a broken leg piece, I think. All right, I finished doing all of the soil. I should check exactly how long that took me. I'll let you know how many rusty swords, copper ores, that kind of thing I just got. All right, looking at the bank comparison, next time I'll make a temporary one for this. You don't have to filter through a bunch of the other crap that's going on here. 7 copper ore, 20 clay, 14 damaged armors, 16 rusty swords, 14 broken armors. I'm gonna go repair all those at the POH really quick and report how many bars that's all worth. I think smithing level gives me a higher chance to succeed here. I don't know. All right, here's all the plate stuff that I got. I'll tell you that bar count in a sec. That's 58 bars, a little bit less than last cycle, but if we include the long swords, that's another 60, 62, 69 bars. I think we got 68 or something like that last cycle. So yeah, more long swords this time. That worked a lot better. Good stuff. I think that's really worth it. That's several complete swords in the Giant's Foundry. Got my second shooting star here. I ended up missing this wave, unfortunately, for shooting stars, so working on crafting 77, 3 levels to go. Finished all of my sapphires, working on emeralds now. Hello, I got a dunce here, let's go. That's why we do stuff at a bank that won't despawn random events. All right, we're putting this on Slayer from now on. 525 Slayer XP. One more dunce should get us to 36. I think 40 is the next level that matters. That might let us count as finishing the Silvaria chunk, which doesn't really matter. I'm probably still going to mine the limestone there, but I guess I can skip killing the bats and the regular trees there. 78 crafting, still working through the emeralds here. I might get a shooting star in a moment. Another star here at Soul Wars. Crafting 79, one more to go. I'm gonna have to bounce out. I don't know if I'll be able to continue pushing here. I finished all of my emeralds. I got a sapphire from Rick Turpentine. So I just have the rubies, diamonds, and other gems to go here. I probably do need to redeem some of these 5,000 Stardust to make sure I can get all the way there with gems alone, but I'll do that once I get close. Shooting star over here in Al-Kharid. Waiting on a shooting star to spawn for this wave, but I'm almost done with my crafting grind. I ran out of gems. I had to go turn in the Stardust I've already collected, and hopefully that'll be enough gems to finish dinging 80 here. Shooting star was rough to find this wave, but working on the one at Porkazard. Here it comes. We're about to get level 80 crafting. There it is, crafting 80. You can now craft Dragonstone amulets. Let's make our Amulet of Glory. And the next level up for crafting that matters, arguably 82, because we can do Black Dragonhide stuff if we can get access to Black Dragonhide. The most likely chunk we'll get Black Dragonhide at would be South Taverley in the Taverley dungeon. So that makes that chunk even better, since we're close to being able to make Black D'hide gear. But also the Region Bracelet at 84, so I am going to continue to save my gem bags for that purpose. It's going to be a long time till 84, though. All right, crafting a Dragonstone amulet. And then enchanting it. Oh, well, stringing it. And then enchanting it. We have an Amulet of Glory. Wonderful. That took a really long time to be able to unlock, but it's a pretty significant upgrade over the Amulet of Power. I'll show the difference in stats in a second, but I gotta go do another shooting star. All right, mining the shooting star at Rimington. Got a dunce here. Somebody called the cops on this star, which is kind of a bummer, but I'm gonna go do the dunce real fast. Yeah, there's like 30 people here now. I don't know why somebody showed up and just called the cops on it. Like, it would have been fine for it to be 2 people, but... Well, I was counting on 2 hours of AFK, or at least an hour of AFK, but all those people showing up like locusts brought it down to about 8 minutes. So I am just gonna work on some fletching, I guess. I'll keep working down this oak logs stack. I'm gonna use this Book of Knowledge as well on Slayer. Let's go ahead and dump it here. Slayer 36, 4 levels to go. Gonna start here at the Champions Guild. This one's not quite as bad as Al-Kharid Palace, but it's really unlikely I'll get 2 hours here because of all the people doing farm runs, so we'll see what happens. There's Fletching 75. I haven't had a lot of room to talk, but I finished all of my oak logs, and I'm currently starting to make headless arrows. I'm at 100k. I'm about to hit 76 fletching. It's really slow. We'll see how much I can tolerate, but it's worth doing it, I think. We can get that magic short bow. It's going to be huge once I can switch to ranged. Oh, total level 1400. All right, so I'm up early enough that I'm going to go try to get my Calvarian kill in for the cycle. The high scores just recently came out for Calvarian, and it seems like the entire first page is full of bots, so that might explain why the boss appears to be so popular. It's extremely heavily botted, it seems like. I found a room, but unfortunately the boss is already like half health, so I guess I'll see what happens. I think I need to fight it from full health as an iron, or like I don't get all the loot or something. I want to risk it. This is just way too busy. Like, I'll load in sometimes and people will teleport the tick that I load in. Yeah, in fact, them teleporting the tick that I load in is extremely common. Oh, well, that time I loaded in, they teleported, but it was with the boss dead, so maybe I have a chance here. Let's see. Should be in phase 2 here. Oh god. Well, that sucked. I got stacked out by the phase transition. Alright, I think I can still get my stuff back, question mark. Maybe finish the kill if no one walks in there. Definitely haven't died to a phase transition before. That was a little scary. Usually I trigger it when I'm relatively far away from the boss, so it's not a huge deal. I got my stuff back. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Lost my stamina ring, so hopefully I can finish it off before that becomes a big problem. I'm really hoping I eventually get a skeleton slayer task, so it would be fun to kill this guy like 50 times in a row. Oh yeah, it's getting pretty bad now that I'm out of root energy. Need to make sure if I die that I bring a fruit or something. Pick up some extra rings to restock if I die like this. 60 magic logs. Not the most exciting drop, but I guess I'll take it. All right, that was the most time-sensitive thing for me today, so I guess I'm gonna go back to doing something AFK. I got a shooting star coming up soon. I do need to replace my food. I've been trying to wait to cook stuff until I could avoid burning it, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to avoid burning all these lobsters, so I might just start cooking some of them just to have some food in my bank. Well, it says players stop burning lobsters at level 74, which I'm level 70 cooking, so I could try to squeeze out 74, or at least start doing a bunch of cooking. I don't know if anyone's ever complained about this, but I feel like Calvarian undermines the Iron Man need for magic logs for certain quests. It seems like that's a reasonably common drop, and it's such an easy boss to kill. Normally Iron Men would have to like grind out Hunter to get it from nature implings, or spend a lot of time on woodcutting. Got my Varrock shooting star over here. Here comes a mining level up, mining 90. I can now mine all tiers of stars. Wonderful. All right, between last star and this star, I got a casket. I had to run to get here to get this star started, so I'm just gonna go ahead and open it now, and then we'll keep mining. Horrible casket. Back cooking while I'm waiting for another star. Here is level 71 cooking. We're trying to get to 74. I don't think I have enough food in my bank to get to 74 right now. I might go do Temporos and see if that's enough to get me over the edge. Else, I have like a 1% burn rate on lobsters, so it's probably okay for me to cook some of them. Got the star here at the Al-Kharid bank. I don't think it's gonna last, but we'll see. Wow, I am shocked. I'm not going to be ending the playthrough like I joked earlier, but I almost got a full 2 hours out of this. A couple people popped by and started mining it, and then they were like, wait, this isn't going to take too long, and left. So yeah, there's 12 minutes left before it will despawn, and I've got 9 minutes left on it, so incredible. The best Al-Kharid bank star I've ever had. This has generally been a pretty good cycle for stars. I had one star that got blown out by somebody calling the cops, and that was about it. All right, I am going to go back to cooking for a bit. I haven't actually done anything in the cycle other than processing tasks right now, but I got to get my cooking to 74. I need food for Calvarian. I got to get my fletching up so that I can eventually make a magic short bow. And I guess now's the cycle to do it. Still trying to do a lot of cooking and fletching tasks. However, if I'm doing that, I want to be editing videos, and I can't edit videos right now because something is rendering using up my rendering machine. So I'm going to go work on a few things that might change my decisions later in the cycle, like fishing trawler and Temporos. All right, did we get an angler piece? We did not. All right, popping into Temporos. 10 permits. Super easy as usual. Inspired by Chaos Factor, recently got really lucky and got like the barrel, the tackle box, and the water tome in like less than 100 pulls or something like that. Probably not going to happen. Nope, nothing good. Start working on farming. I'm going to try to be a little creative here in terms of using different things for super compost. I guess I didn't realize this, but roots all make super compost. So do Janger berries. I might need to save Janger berries for protecting snape grass in the future, but I'm going to see how many I can burn through for now because I do have a lot of them. I'm 72 cooking. I've mostly burned through everything I have in the bank. Still have anchovies and sardines, technically. I think the sardines alone are going to get me pretty close to 73, but I have no use for them. I guess I'll go ahead and cook them. The problem with sardines is that I think they're more useful raw for like kittens. Okay, another good cycle here at Motherlode Mine. This is my first set of 3 pay dirt deposits, and I already have 5 golden nuggets, so we're 5 out of 7 of the way there. Hell yeah, second sack, 4 nuggets, so 9 total so far. That's way above our expected average of about 6 or 7 per cycle. And I'm still not done. All right, here's my last sack here. No more, but that's okay. We got 9 total nuggets for the cycle, which is pretty solid. All right, I have burned through basically all the food in my bank that's not lobsters. I had 73 cooking, was as far as I was able to take it. Dragon fruit pie would be nice eventually if I can ever get dragon fruits. I'm gonna go ahead and cook these raw lobsters. It's like a 99% chance to not burn, so I am gonna burn a few of them, but it will get me to 74, and then I'll have some food for Calvarian and future cycles. Of course, I burned my first lobster. Of course, I burned my first lobster. It looks like it's a 99.22% chance to not burn on a fire or a range. I would have expected a range would be better, but apparently not, and apparently the Lumbridge range doesn't care either. But doing it here right next to a bank is the way to go, it seems like. All right, here comes 74 cooking. I now can no longer burn lobsters, which is nice. I only burned 14 of the 800 or so that I made, so that's not too bad. I'll probably get to cooking the rest of these 1,028 lobsters later, but this 886 should last me for all the Calvarian kills I'll ever have to do. Hello, it's a genie. Thank you, sir. I will take that lamp, and it's going on Slayer. Nice. We get a fletching level here. There it is, 77 fletching. I turned the music off, whoops. Now do rune brutal arrows, okay. I'm probably going to take a break here from, well, I'm almost out of feathers anyway, but 77 was as high as I could get in terms of level ups. I just need to start wood cutting and see how close we can get. As soon as the Banked XP plugin predicts that I'll be able to hit 80, I'll go for it and pick up that magic short bow. You can see here I made like 241,575 headless arrows out of my arrow shafts. You'll notice in the bottom left here in the chat window by the report button, I've gone ahead and moved the time played timer to right above the report timer because I really like being able to see my login time. It matters for like when I'm going to get sweat logged or when I'm going to get a random event, that kind of a thing. So this is how long I've been on the current world. This is my actual total time, so you'll see that in the clips now. All right, about to head into Soul Wars. We'll see how we do. First game ended in a draw, and I got 43 zeal, which isn't bad. All right, I got 40 zeal in the second game, so not quite enough to get 3 spoils. We should be set for next cycle, I think. All right, opening these 2 spoils here. Take nature runes, still really hoping for coal. I haven't gotten a coal drop in a minute. The dragon scimitar is pretty interesting. I have to complete Monkey Madness to be able to equip it, unfortunately, but that's still kind of cool. I think I've gotten now 3 dragon items from Spoils of War. Let me take a look. Yeah, we got a scimitar, a dagger, and a mace, none of which I can use with my currently completed quests. All right, going for my 3 Castle Wars tickets. Pretty solid 20 minutes of AFK now, especially now that they've increased the logout timer to 25 minutes. There's my 3 tickets, back to working on the cycle here. Oh, apparently harvesting limpwort in Camelot is a medium task. Today I learned. About to get a farming level here. Farming 50 can now natively grow Avento. Oh, did not have a good time at this Falador patch. Literally everything died. Strawberries, limpwort, and herbs. About to get a hunter level here. Again, I'm just doing my original rule for implings for now. I haven't published episode 49 to get y'all's feedback yet, so if you all end up ruling that I should change the way I do it, I will make up for it by skipping implings in future cycles. 27 hunter, 1 more level, and we can do gourmet implings. Bit of quiz master random. I'm going to wait to open it until I get my Ring of Wealth out. All right, I grabbed my Ring of Wealth. Let's open up this mystery box. It is a flyer. Doing my shop tour of the game, stopping to pick up the runes here. I like to show what I get. 38,609. Take 38 law runes. It's pretty good. You've probably seen the little timer down here jumping around. I've been trying to find a place for it that's as non-intrusive as possible. I think this is the place to put it. I'm just putting it on top of the trade tab because I will literally never talk in trade chat ever anyway, and it's right next to this one. So yeah, if you want to see total time played that's drawn from this, check here, and then this is session time played. All right, this is gonna be my first cycle stealing from each of the dig site workmen in this part of the dig site 7 times each, which I think is going to be somewhat miserable because the delay to steal is double what it normally is for no reason, and they only give 10 XP. But hey, let's do it. I need thieving XP pretty bad. Just have 2 shooting stars left in the cycle. I got this one and the one in the Edgeville ditch. About to get a thieving level up here, working on guards. Thieving 67. Right now, the main advantage of thieving level ups is just increasing my pickpocketing chance. I don't really have anything crazy on the horizon that I'm looking forward to. Let's stop at the apothecary for a clue scroll, so while I'm here, I'm going to pick up some more anti-poisons. Oh, what do you know? I got a casket. All right, I'll get the anti-poisons first. All right, two-step easy casket. What we get? Blue firelighters. Okay, not a very good casket. Here, the last star for the cycle. I got to find a way to deal with these skeletons real quick. Person mining the star with me started attacking me. Haven't had that happen before. Maybe it was an accident and they misclicked. Yeah, this person mining over here just started attacking me because they were mad about the skeletons attacking them, I guess, and not attacking me. I don't know. Or they thought I was a bot. Okay, they confirmed it was a misclick. Gotta wait to get tolerant again. I'm pretty sure this is a rare drop table drop. 45 law runes? I've never seen that before, but I will take it. That's like my usage for an entire cycle right there. Wow, it is a 1 in 4,096 from these guys. I don't know if anything is comparable. It's pretty crazy. Still getting crazy drops over here. Adamant Javelin, totally useless, but it's 1 in 8,256 from these guys. I'm about to hit 64 defense here. There it is. Okay, I have another maple sapling, which is very exciting. Got one of these from a bird nest from killing Ents earlier. So I'm going to plant it. I'm able to protect it now that I have access to oranges. Get a hit points level here. Hit point 76. Combat level 91. Should score another defense level here soon. There it is. Defense 65. All right, Calphite Queen time. Let's go. All right, phase 2, pretty slow this time, but I should be okay. Okay, let's see what we get. Hey, I got the weapon poison drop. That's actually much more exciting than you might think. It's 5 weapon poison, so I can spare to throw one on a piece of shit item, or 2 or 3, which is great because I have a lot of piece of shit items. Okay, so I've been waiting on this weapon poison drop for a while. I don't think it's going to change too much about the way I play through each cycle. The thing that would make a huge difference now is if I also got a dragon spear, which is part of why I'm trying to keep the Ring of Wealth on at all times to maximize the chance I'll get one of those. A Poison plus plus dragon spear might actually finally replace the Colossal Blade, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I can only really poison daggers and spears, so I am going to go ahead and poison my best possible spear and best possible dagger, which I think both are quite terrible. Obviously, I have that dragon dagger, which I guess I'll poison it. I've got a poison to spare, but I can't use that until we finish Lost City anyway. Unfortunately, it seems like my best spear is still a mithril spear. I actually don't know. Can you craft an adamant spear? Only with barbarian smithing. Okay. So yeah, I guess I'm going to use, I've got 5. I want to save 1 for the inevitable dragon spear, probably 1 for a rune dagger if I get one from a green dragon. So that should leave me with plenty to just go ahead and poison all these now. So there's my DDS, adamant dagger, and a mithril spear P++. Again, I don't think this is worth using on the Calphite Queen, even if I went in there with the spear. The time it would take to land the poison, I can probably just kill it, especially in phase 1 with the Colossal Blade. But there might be content in the future where having access to Poison++ is, makes a difference between the content being impossible and the content being doable. So we shall see. Got what I believe is my first ever clean dwarf weed, which I think is useful in the Jekyll random. Yeah, the dwarf weed makes a magic potion, which lets me boost my magic by 4 and has 4 doses. So I'll probably want to hold on to that until I get a Jekyll random. I'd likely only ever need one of them. The only thing I think I'd want to boost for with magic would be like an enchant spell or something that I would cast once. But having access to an emergency boost would be really nice. Okay, PVM's all done for the cycle. It's time for me to start working on things like Giant's Foundry construction, Barbarian Assault, Pest Control. I'll let you know how Giant's Foundry goes. I don't think I'm going to get a smithing level. 146k is a tall order. If I do, though, I can get the final mold, which is pretty great. I just have to boost to use it. All right, I am out of material to do more swords. Unfortunately, I'm only 10k away from level 80, so I'll have to get it next cycle. I'm going to have to be really careful here and make sure I leave enough points behind to afford the next mold, which costs 450, so I need to leave myself with that many at least. Over here at Barbarian Assault, already had a pretty rough round. Everyone bailed on wave 3. All right, took us a while, but we got a teaching round done. I'm going to go ahead and high gamble with the collector roll here. All right, let's see what we get. Keep getting garbage. Archer helm. Well, that's neat, but I can't wear it without doing the Prometic trials. All right, unfortunately, I don't have enough points to do both gambles here, just the low gamble, but I already told people I was going to pop out. So I guess I'll do it with healer. Just the low gamble. Please give me something good, I'm begging you. 14 unicorn horns. There's some really, really, really good stuff on the gamble tables, I swear to God. The rune axe would be amazing. Popping out here to get my medium gamble. Embarrassing every single time. Medium gamble. Adamant arrows, unfortunate. All right, I ended that round with like 455 attacker points, so I should be pretty set for next cycle. I'd like to have one already ready to do the medium gamble. Bailing is so annoying. Okay, I have very little left to do this cycle. We got to do construction, pest control, last man standing. All right, I got my 3 points at the novice lander. Let's go do the intermediate lander. All right, intermediate lander is done. That wasn't too bad. I'm gonna go do construction. It's 28 void points, by the way. All right, finished up all my construction training. Probably gonna hit, well, I am gonna hit level 60 next cycle. Let's go do last man standing and wrap this up. So I think the supply tracker is broken, unfortunately. I think this also includes the supplies from last cycle. Maybe you can, if you care, subtract these numbers from last cycle's numbers. I'll try to wipe it though. This thing has been not great ever since they added the profile system or Inlight. What a real bad time at last man standing. I got like 5 games in a row where I've just been completely rinsed. Took me a bunch of games, but I finally got a single kill, so hopefully I can be a coward long enough to get a few points here. I only got 2 points in the first game. All right, next game went okay too, in that I was actually able to get a kill, so we'll see how long I can hide. Number of points I end up getting is usually a function of which map I end up on. I get more points on this map than the Dark Varrock map, and how close I spawn to a corner. If I can hide in a corner, usually people don't bother checking those. Oh, I'm better. 3 points, so I need to get 2 more. We'll get at least 2 points from this game, so that's good. 4 points in that game, so we end up getting 2 over, so 9 total. Okay, everybody, it's the end of the cycle, so let's summarize everything here. As you can see, we played for about 56 days, 9 hours. I'm just gonna have this on the screen from now on so you can keep track of how much time is happening in between clips. The live split timer here, 73 hours, 59 minutes, and 5 seconds. Way more than last cycle, mostly because I spent a ton of time on fletching, cooking, and crafting. I needed lots of AFK so I could start working on the backlog of blind series videos that I'll talk about here in a second. I probably need to do a little bit more of that next cycle with fletching, so we'll see what happens if I can get some more AFK in between shooting stars. Look through the task list. I'm just going to click through these really quick. Feel free to pause if you want to review any of them. Did soil 1, 2, and 3, but not the training soil. Errors this time. I fixed the Chaos Druid and Pickpocket errors. New errors. I accidentally caught an extra surface baby impling. I thought it was young impling and clicked on it by mistake. And I overkilled 1 zombie, so I'll make up for that next cycle. This will be removed next cycle. Still using my original impling rules. I haven't yet seen y'all's comments on episode 49 because it hasn't published yet, but if you rule that I should do implings differently, I will make up for it in a future cycle. Did a lot of farming this cycle. Basically did everything I could get away with. I didn't do something on this list. It's probably because I didn't have the seeds for it. I never got around to doing rosemary, but I did basically everything else. All right, here is the XP tracker. A lot of big numbers there at the top. Crafting, mining, cooking, fletching. 3 of those, of course, are the ones I just listed. I spent a bunch of time on those. As usual, the more interesting thing you probably care about is the delta, so the difference in XP gain between this cycle and last cycle. The total XP gain is up by almost 1 million from cooking, crafting, and fletching primarily. Did a little bit better on mining this cycle. Had a really bad cycle last time in terms of not being able to get any solo stars. Feeding's up a little bit. Some of that is the dig site workman. Agility, 4,500 XP doesn't sound like a lot, but that's because of all of those extra laps we got to run at the Al-Kharid course, and adds up pretty quickly. Farming would be comparable to last cycle, except I did get a maple seed right towards the end of the cycle that I checked the health on, so that pretty much accounts for all of that extra 3k. Slayer is up because of lamping it. You'll notice prayer is up. I'm trying to start burying bones every now and then, depending on what I'm fighting. Prayer is going to contribute to my combat level, and I need to get combat level to 100. So even though it's a really minuscule amount of XP and it takes a ton of time to pick up bones, if I'm able to do it, I'll start doing it. Just from the things that I normally PVM. As far as levels that are exciting on the horizon, 92 mining for amethyst. I obviously won't be able to get into the Falador Elite Diary area, so I won't be able to mine amethyst to depletion, probably ever on this account. But it's still kind of interesting to get amethyst. I'll be able to boost to it from 91. The fact that we're 90 now is kind of cool. Means I can mine all shooting stars in the game. Agility, probably not going to be anything interesting until, I guess, 57 in case we roll the Sears Village, because we're pretty close to that. Even with now 3 courses, that's a very long ways off, I think. Our best chance of getting any agility XP is going to be the Brimhaven Arena. I will definitely get 80 smithing. I might even do it really early next cycle. That'll let us get the last mold in the Giant's Foundry, which should help a lot with the average quality of swords we make there. And you get to 73 fishing to be able to boost with the fish pie to catch the sharks in the Soul Isle. I also need a big fishing net to be able to finish that chunk, but it would be nice to have the sharks before we get the big fishing net. 74 was an important threshold for cooking because it let us make lobsters without burning them. Of course, we got 80 crafting, which means we can now make amulets of glory. 80 fletching is a huge goal, but it's so slow right now. We will hit 28 hunter next cycle, which will let me catch gourmet implings. Should increase the hunter XP we get by, again, a couple hundred. Not a lot per cycle, but it'll still be nice. There's some interesting things on the gourmet impling loot table, namely Chef's Delight. If I can get enough Chef's Delights, I can make a dispenser for those in my house and use that to boost for cooking recipes, which could be pretty valuable. Normally I look at this list of skills and I can't tell you a bunch of exciting things on the horizon, but that has changed as of this episode. Here's the loot tracker. Let's do a quick scroll. Feel free to pause if you see anything interesting. And the random event history. Not as exciting this cycle. I did get a couple XP randoms. Here's the bank. Quick summary of what's new here. Obviously the Amulet of Glory. I never cooked these spider carcasses. That was the whole reason why this wasn't a bonfire skip situation, but whatever, it's fine. I cooked some Uthonki meat as part of trying to level up cooking earlier. I got a dragon scimitar, burnt lobsters, bought some more full anti-poisons from the apothecary, blue firelighters, the 1 in 8,000 adamant javelin, weapon poison ++. I poisoned the dragon dagger, an adamant dagger, and a mithril spear in case that ever comes up. I might think about holding onto this dwarf weed to get a magic potion, but probably more crucially, I need to hold on to herbs to get super restores. So if I can get enough super restores and prayer potions, then the fight caves will be possible. And finally, the archer helm, which is cool, but I won't be able to use it. I need to do the Fermentic Trials. Okay, bank scroll. Pause if you see something you want to look at. And the bank delta over here on the right still came ahead 69 law runes. Big reason for that was that rare drop table drop that we got of like 45 law runes, but I think we still would have come ahead anyway, even without that. Even with all the shops I'm buying out, I'm still coming out ahead about 86k, so had to get almost all of that money back at the Giant's Foundry cycle. I think that's everything, so let's go ahead and roll this chunk and hope it's a good one, because it's going to be a while to the next episode. I'll tell you more about that here in a second. Alright, we're here in the chunk picker. I've been going hard. 6 days since the last roll. My wife's out of town, so I was able to play a lot, and my intent is to try to like get this in the bag as soon as possible. Got these 2 chunks in Korend, everything else that's over here. We've talked about these at length in other episodes. The one thing that's new is next to Hazelmere, East Yanil, which pretty sure is not going to be a skip. I think there's a couple new things there. Anything, the stuff that's underground would count. Yanil's actually, I kind of want this one. I didn't think about this, but if we can get into Yanil, I believe that means that we can finish into the Abyss, which means that I would be able to finally do Guardians of the Rift, which would be massive for this account. It's like painful that I've had that unlocked technically for so long and haven't been able to do it due to not being able to do this mini quest. So actually, this is I might, whenever I get around to recategorizing my high priority chunks, this would be pretty high priority. I would be very happy to get into Yanil for that. Obviously, the most important chunk by far is South Taverley. Not even just for Herblore. Herblore is huge and lets us complete a bunch of chunks and just changes everything about the account. But the Taverley dungeon itself rules. There's blue and black dragons in there that drop hides that I can use to make really significant ranged gear, which would help a lot in the fight caves whenever we get around to it. Really hoping for South Taverley. It is a 1 in, is it 149 now? I think I have 49 rollable chunks. No, 51, so not great. 2% chance. A little bit less than a 2% chance. Let's go ahead and roll the chunk though and see what happens. The Tower of Life, huh? North of Port Khazard. Guessing none of these are new under my rules for what counts as a new creature, but I'll take a look at it here in a second. They're all NPCs for the Tower of Life quest. None of this is new. We'll look at the quest details here in a second. Let me just make sure. Okay, yeah, the quest is entirely completable from this tile. Does it require Herblore or something that I can't do, though? Oh, we can do the Tower of Life. Okay. That's cool. Now, normally the quest wouldn't block us from skipping the bonfire, but I think there is new stuff in the basement via the machines that you can use to summon stuff, but I'm actually not super clear as to whether those things provide any new resources. So let me look that up really quick. All right, so I already have access to Eyes of Newt, unicorn horns, red spider eggs, feathers. I don't have access to jubblies. However, if I had access to jubblies, well, I need to have access to jubblies to be able to spawn this thing anyway. This isn't accessible until I get jubblies, and if we get to a chunk that has jubblies in it, that would require me to light a bonfire because it would technically be new. So I think it would be double dipping to require it from this, because it's definitely going to require it from when we actually get the jubbly later. I already have lobsters, cave eels, giant frog legs, and all of the other things that they drop here. The satchels are not an upgrade. They're not a skilling resource. They're just kind of a weird, obscure item. So I was actually expecting to come in here and see something that was a new upgrade or a new resource, but I mean, arguably the jubbly, but I really don't think that should count because we need to actually have a jubbly to spawn it in the first place, right? So let me just, since the basement definitely wouldn't force a bonfire, let me really read the rest of this chunk closely to make sure that I'm not missing anything. The necromancer guy only spawns bones. The other necromancers spawn bones and Zammy gear, which I already have access to. Summon zombies are just zombies. So the monsters aren't new. And we've done oaks before. I'm just going to open all of these in a new tab. I want to be completely certain that this is a skip. Yeah, I just confirmed this is a skip. It's kind of neat that we'll have access to. So I think my ruling for the machines down in the basement is going to be that I can use each machine once per cycle. So potentially some interesting duplication of resources there. Mostly Herblore secondaries, which will be nice to bank. I'm not going to go do this right now because the quest is pretty long and it might be exciting to have the next episode start with a reroll chunk so that you don't know what's going to happen right after the beginning of the episode. I look forward to that as well. So I should tell you about the plan. As I've mentioned a couple times, this is going to be the end of an era. I no longer can do one Bonfire Man episode per week and be a healthy gamer. So we're going to have to reduce the frequency of these videos. I am going to continue to play the mode though, and at some point in the future I might increase the frequency if I build enough of a backlog again. But for now, the plan is that you'll see the next episode 2 months from the date that this episode publishes, and then we'll do it once per 2 months, at least for, I don't know, half a year or so to see whether I can get a backlog or not. That means next week there will not be a new Bonfire Man episode. However, some of you might know about my Blind Quest Cape series, or I'm just going to call it my general Blind series, because I went past the Quest Cape, I did the Music Cape, and then I never actually got around to publishing the Diary Cape, but I did finish the Diary Cape and have been working on endgame PDM stuff, with the eventual goal being to see every boss and piece of content in RuneScape and eventually complete the Inferno. The plan will be that for the 7-week period in between this episode publishing and episode 51 of Bonfire Man coming out, I'm going to publish 7 episodes of the Blind series. I think that content is pretty interesting. I think it's cool to watch me do all this stuff for the first time. I am making a couple changes to the editing style. If you have watched that series before, you know that it's very poorly edited. I literally just recorded every second of gameplay and then fast forwarded all the parts where I was on mute. And it was janky. I should have just cut the parts that were on mute like any normal person, right? I guess it was kind of interesting to watch the bars fill up constantly, but I don't think it was worth doing it that way. So going forward, I'm going to be doing normal clips, right? I'm just going to cut out the parts in between interesting bits. One of the main reasons for that is that I was able to record every second of gameplay for 3,000 hours because I was recording at a much lower quality than I record now, 720p 60. But I am eventually going to go back to my main account and finish all of the content that I haven't gotten to. There's been a lot that's released since I last played it. Like I haven't done Tombs of Amasket Blind or the Phantom Muspa Blind or any of that content. And the quality level I record at right now, I would explode my hard drive if I recorded every second of gameplay. So I have to do clips. So I hope you'll enjoy that Blind series and it'll tide you over until Bonfire Man comes back. I am going to be playing RuneScape 3 for the first time as a live stream. It's possible I've already done it by the time this episode publishes. That live stream is going to determine whether I'm interested in continuing to do a blind RuneScape 3 playthrough in general. There's things in RS3 that sound repulsive to me. It's the reason why I like OSRS so much. But I've also heard that Iron Man mode disables most of what's repulsive about RS3. So we'll find out. If the game has a lot of dailies and I feel like the dailies are forcing me to log in, I'm probably not going to want to play it. But as long as the dailies are reasonable or manageable and it's mostly playable as an Iron Man without any of the MTX, double XP weekends, any of that other crap, I think it's potentially going to be pretty enjoyable. And if you've never seen RS3 before and you want to see someone who's never played RuneScape prior to 2019 play it, you should check that out. Even if you actively dislike RS3, I promise I'm going to be coming at it with a pretty critical eye and without any of the bias of being a kid growing up with, you know, evolution of combat and all of the baggage that came with it. So thank you all for watching and supporting this series. It's been fun doing it once per week. I'm excited to be able to slow down a little bit. I think next episode will be exciting. We will complete the Tower of Life quest. We'll check out the creation minigame in the basement, make a few creatures down there and get some extra resources for the future. And then once we check out everything in the Tower of Life, I'll roll a new mystery chunk and maybe it'll be South Taverley. You can only pray. See y'all in a couple months. I'll talk to you later. Bye.